We're counting down the top 10 November fruits you'll wish you planted sooner. From long-time forbidden favorites revived by new laws to cold-hardy superfoods and ancient orchard classics, these picks all deliver bigger harvests sooner thanks to fall's unique planting window. You'll discover which fruits survive sub-zero winters, which yield extreme early harvests, and the scientific edge behind each ranking. Welcome, bloomers! If you love the smell of fresh soil and the joy of growing something with your own two hands, you're in the right place. Before we begin, tell us where you're from and what time it is there in the comments below. I love seeing how our circle grows. Let's begin with number 10. Gooseberries once vanished from American gardens, banished by law in the early 1900s when white pine blister rust threatened the timber industry. For decades, planting or even owning a bush could earn you a fine in states like Maine and Michigan. But after years in legal limbo, gooseberries are making a comeback, especially in northern backyards where winter bites hard. Modern cultivars like Invicta and Hinnon-Maki Red shrug off cold snaps, thriving after November planting and standing strong to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, most states have relaxed restrictions, so gardeners from Minnesota to Vermont can reclaim this cold, hardy classic. Just double-check your county rules before you dig. Pomegranates have been cherished since ancient Persia, but in the American Southwest, they are prized for a different reason: resilience. November planting gives these tough trees a head start before the desert heat returns. In trials led by the University of Arizona, nearly 90% of fall-planted pomegranates survived their first year, compared to just 60% of those set in spring. That difference can mean the world for gardeners in zones 8 through 11, where summer comes on fast and hard. Wonderful and Parfianca are standouts, thriving with minimal frost exposure and adapting well to backyard or container growing. For seniors in warm climates, a pomegranate planted in the cool of November promises not just survival, but a future full of ruby red harvests. Thomas Jefferson kept careful notes in his Monticello garden journals, recording how figs thrived when planted in the cool months of autumn. That tradition still pays off across zones 7 through 10, where November planting gives figs a vital head start before the heat of summer. In Georgia and Louisiana, extension trials have tracked survival rates for decades. Fall-planted figs, especially tried and true varieties like Brown Turkey and Celeste, consistently show about 25% higher first-year survival compared to those set out in spring. The reason lies below ground. While branches lie dormant, roots keep growing in the mild winter soil, anchoring young plants before the stress of sun and drought. For senior gardeners in the South, a November fig planting is more than a nod to history. It's a proven way to enjoy a stronger, more reliable harvest when warm weather returns. Elderberries have deep roots in North America, both in the wild and in tradition. For centuries, Ojibwe and Ho-Chunk families gathered clusters of Sambucus canadensis along rivers and woodland edges, brewing immune-boosting teas and syrups long before the first laboratory ever measured an antioxidant. Today, modern science is catching up. The University of Missouri's research found that elderberries pack 5 to 10 times more antioxidant power than cranberries, making them a standout for health-conscious gardeners. Late fall is the perfect time to plant these native shrubs. When the soil is cool and moist, elderberry roots settle in quietly, ready to surge with new growth after winter's thaw. Cultivars like York and Adams are especially reliable for northern gardens, producing heavy clusters of berries that ripen in late summer. While elderberries may take a little longer to yield their first big crop, their legacy, woven from indigenous knowledge and confirmed by science, offers more than fruit. For seniors seeking a connection to heritage, community, and wellness, planting elderberries in November is a gift that grows richer with every season. Persimmons once fed pioneers through lean winters and still reward patient gardeners today. The American persimmon, Diospyros virginiana, stands out for its resilience, thriving from Kentucky woodlands to suburban backyards in zones 5 through 9. Unlike shallow-rooted shrubs, a young persimmon tree spends its first seasons sending a taproot deep into the earth. That taproot is its secret weapon, reaching water when summer droughts parch the surface. November planting is the key to unlocking this strength. As the branches go dormant above ground, the roots keep growing below, undisturbed by heat or pests. By spring, that taproot is anchored and ready to fuel a burst of growth. Frontier legends tell of Daniel Boone foraging wild persimmons after the first frost, savoring their honey-sweet flavor when little else was left to eat. Today, a mature tree can yield up to 50 pounds of fruit each autumn, enough to fill baskets or share with neighbors. While persimmons ask for patience, often several years before the first harvest, the payoff is lasting. Once established, these trees outlast drought, deliver fruit reliably, and need little care beyond a sunny spot and occasional mulch. For seniors looking to plant something that will outlive fashion and weather, November is the time to start a persimmon, an investment in both heritage and harvest. Blackberries have a reputation for toughness, but when it comes to big, sweet berries, timing is everything. University of Kentucky research found that canes planted in November produce berries 15 to 20% larger than those set out in spring. That's a difference you can see and taste by the first summer. The roots get a head start in the cool, damp soil, quietly growing while the tops stay dormant. By the time warm weather arrives, those underground reserves fuel a burst of cane growth and bigger fruit clusters. For anyone who's ever battled thorns while picking wild blackberries, thornless cultivars offer a welcome upgrade. Triple Crown and Arapaho are two favorites, bred for easy picking and reliable yields in zones 5 through 9. These varieties don't just spare your hands, they thrive on fall planting, with lower rates of transplant shock and faster establishment. Once set in November, the canes settle in before spring's sap rise, avoiding the stress that can stunt new plantings. Blackberries are forgiving plants, but a little attention now pays off all season. Space the canes 3 to 5 feet apart, water them well at planting, and add a thick layer of mulch to lock in moisture. By late June, you'll be harvesting glossy, plump berries that fill a bowl in minutes. For seniors looking for an easy-care, high-reward crop, November blackberries offer a pioneer's reward: bigger fruit, fewer thorns, and a taste of the wild right at home. Raspberries might look delicate above ground, but their real strength comes from what happens beneath the surface in November. When bare root raspberry canes are planted in late fall, they use the dormant season to focus entirely on root growth. While the tops sleep through winter, roots quietly branch out, anchoring each plant deep into the cool, moist soil. Oregon State University tracked this process for years, finding that fall-planted raspberries deliver a 20 to 25% increase in fruit yield the following summer compared to canes set out in spring. The difference starts with survival. More canes make it through winter, and those that do are stronger, with a dense network of roots ready to fuel rapid spring growth. For seniors aiming to maximize harvest with minimal fuss, bare root raspberries are especially forgiving. There's no heavy pot to wrestle, just a bundle of canes and a shallow trench. Soak the roots for an hour, trim any broken tips, and plant so the crown sits just at soil level. A generous layer of mulch keeps the ground from freezing and thawing too quickly, protecting those new roots from winter's worst swings. By the time warm weather returns, the plants leap ahead, sending up sturdy canes loaded with flower buds. Heritage and Caroline are standout cultivars for fall planting, thriving in zones 5 through 8. Heritage offers a steady supply of berries from midsummer to frost, while Caroline is prized for its large, sweet fruit and resilience to disease. Both reward the patient gardener with a flush of berries that outpaces spring-planted rivals. In community gardens and backyard plots alike, the principle is simple: root first, shoot later. By giving raspberries a quiet winter to settle in, seniors can count on bigger, better harvests with less worry about transplant shock or cane loss. The science is clear, and the reward, a summer bowl of sun-warmed berries, is well worth the wait. Bare root apple trees arrive in November, dormant and leafless, ready to begin a quiet transformation beneath the surface. While the branches rest, roots get to work in the cool, moist soil, pushing deeper and branching wider than they ever could in spring's rush. The USDA has tracked this process for decades, finding that apple trees planted during dormancy establish their roots nearly 50% faster than those set out after winter. That head start isn't just a number. It means stronger trees, better anchoring, and earlier growth when the thaw comes. George Washington's orchard at Mount Vernon was planted this way. He knew that the best time to start a legacy was when the world seemed still. Today, that wisdom holds for gardeners across zones 4 through 8, from New England's stony hills to the rolling plains of the Midwest. Heritage varieties like Liberty and Honey Crisp, selected for their disease resistance and crisp flavor, thrive when given a cold season to settle in. Most apples need a partner for cross-pollination, so planting at least 2 compatible cultivars ensures a reliable harvest for years to come. For seniors dreaming of an orchard but wary of ladders, modern dwarf rootstocks keep trees compact and picking within easy reach. These smaller trees bear full-sized fruit, mature faster, and fit comfortably into a backyard or community plot. The planting process is simple. Soak the roots, dig a wide hole, and set the crown just above soil level. A deep watering and a generous layer of mulch will protect the roots from winter's freeze and spring's unpredictable thaws. Patience is part of the promise with apples. Unlike berries that reward you quickly, trees ask for a few seasons' wait. But the payoff is lasting. A single tree can outlive its planter, offering fruit to children and neighbors for generations. For those starting in November, every winter storm and quiet frost is a step toward a living legacy. The best orchards begin when the world is at rest, roots growing strong beneath the silent ground. Blueberries stand out as the fruit that rewards cold-weather gardeners for their patience and planning. These shrubs have a unique requirement. They need between 800 and 1,000 hours of winter chill, steady periods where temperatures stay between 32 and 45 degrees Fahrenheit. This process, called vernalization, is what triggers the formation of strong fruiting buds. Without it, spring brings weak blooms and disappointing harvests. November planting aligns perfectly with this natural clock. While the branches appear dormant above ground, the roots quietly branch out below, settling into cool, moist earth before the deep freeze sets in. In places like Maine and Michigan, commercial blueberry farms have relied on this timing for decades. Senior growers in Cherryfield, Maine, led the way in the 1990s, experimenting with late fall planting when others doubted its value. By 2002, the results were impossible to ignore. Yields jumped by as much as 30% the following summer compared to spring plantings. That success story is now standard practice across the region, with local extension bulletins urging gardeners to plant as soon as leaves fall and the soil is still workable. The science behind this is simple but powerful. As soon as a bare root blueberry bush goes into the ground in November, it begins building a network of fine roots. These roots absorb moisture and nutrients through the winter, even when the top of the plant appears lifeless. By spring, the bush wakes up with a head start. More roots mean more shoots, and more shoots mean more berries. The result is a healthier, more productive plant that can outpace anything set out in spring's rush. Not all blueberries are created equal when it comes to cold. For zones 4 through 7, Jersey and Blue Crop are proven performers. Both thrive on fall planting, with Jersey known for its late-season sweetness and Blue Crop for its reliability and heavy yields. In Maine, these varieties form the backbone of the state's blueberry belt, while in Michigan, they're the top picks for both backyard and commercial growers. For seniors looking to maximize results with minimal fuss, the process is straightforward. Choose a site with full sun and acidic soil. Blueberries need a pH between 4.5 and 5.5. Dig a wide, shallow hole, spread the roots gently, and water deeply. A mulch of pine needles or shredded leaves keeps the soil cool and moist, discouraging weeds and preserving the acidity. Blueberries love. Once planted, there's little to do but wait for spring. By the time the last frost melts, those roots will have done their quiet work, setting the stage for a flush of white blossoms and soon after, clusters of blue fruit. For gardeners who want a high-yielding, low-maintenance crop, November blueberries are the cold lover's secret to a bigger, sweeter harvest. Strawberries deliver the quickest and often the sweetest recured for anyone planting in November. While most gardeners are winding down for winter, those who set out June-bearing strawberries now are setting the table for an early spring feast. The numbers speak for themselves. In University of Arkansas trials from 2017 through 2020, beds planted in November produced up to 40% more fruit than those started in spring. That's not a minor bump. It's a basket overflowing with berries weeks ahead of schedule. The secret lies in the roots. When the soil is cool but not frozen, young strawberry plants put all their energy into building a dense network below ground. Above, the crowns rest quietly, but beneath the surface, roots grow strong and deep, ready to fuel a burst of new leaves and flowers as soon as the days lengthen. By the time spring arrives, November-planted strawberries are already steps ahead, often ripening up to 6 weeks before their spring-planted rivals. For seniors who want to see results fast, this is the ultimate head start. Certain varieties stand out for fall planting. Chandler and Sweet Charlie are proven winners, especially in zones 4 through 8. These cultivars were chosen for their vigor and disease resistance, even when a mid-2018 fungus outbreak threatened to derail the Arkansas study. Dr. Linda Cooper's team pivoted quickly, switching to these tough varieties and enlisting local volunteers to keep the research on track. Their work paid off, confirming that fall planting doesn't just mean more berries, it means a sturdier, more resilient patch that shrugs off spring's unpredictable weather. There's one more step that makes all the difference: a thick blanket of straw mulch laid down in December. This simple act insulates the crowns, prevents frost heave, and keeps weeds at bay. When the last snows melt, just pull the straw back and let the sun do the rest. The payoff is visible by early May, rows of glossy red fruit ready for the picking, long before most gardeners have even set out their tomato seedlings. For those who crave quick results, a big yield, and a taste of summer before anyone else, strawberries planted in November are the undisputed champion. It's the clearest proof that in gardening, timing is everything. And that sometimes a little patience in the cold months brings the sweetest rewards of all. From the cold-defiant gooseberries once banned across America to the record-breaking early harvests of November-planted strawberries, this countdown proves that November isn't the end of your garden. It's the quiet beginning of abundance. Across all 10 entries, the pattern was clear. Planting in cool, dormant soils gives fruit crops a measurable advantage, whether it's a 40% yield boost in strawberries, a 30% jump in blueberries, or faster root establishment in apples and figs. The most surprising theme, both native and exotic fruits like elderberries and pomegranates, showed that fall planting benefits every climate zone, from Arctic hardy shrubs to desert survivors. What made these fruits qualify wasn't just cold tolerance, but the science-backed promise of earlier, stronger, and healthier harvests. Ultimately, these 10 November fruits reveal a simple truth. By working with nature's rhythms, gardeners can unlock richer, earlier rewards. November isn't a pause. It's the season that sets the stage for next year's sweetest harvests.